Today we shall learn about the general characteristics of transition elements. So there are 2 electrons in the 4th shell and now the 3rd shell d orbital is getting filled up. This is the atomic radius or the trend in the atomic radius along the period. 160 picometer, hafnium 159 picometer. The amount of energy required to remove the outermost electron from an orbital. Hello my dear students, welcome back to session 2 on the chapter D and F block elements. Last class we studied about the electronic configuration of D block elements, that is the 3D transition series, 4D transition series, 5D transition series and 6D transition series. Today we shall learn about the general characteristics of transition elements. The first characteristic of transition element is atomic radii. So what happens to the atomic radii as we move along the period? Remember, in D block elements or the transition elements, we'll always talk along the period more than down the group. Okay? So what happens to atomic radii as we move along the period? It is observed that it will decrease with the increase in atomic number. But the decrease becomes smaller after midway. So what is it? As we are moving along the period, the atomic radius is going on decreasing, but halfway through the decrease will become very small. That means they have very close values in the atomic radii. Now why exactly that is happening? The reason is in the beginning, okay, for example, I'll draw the diagram and show. If this is the nucleus and the first, second and this is the 3D or the 3rd shell I can take. I'll consider it to be 3D, okay, for my convenience. So already there are some electrons of 3s and 3p which is already present, okay. And what happens is the 4th shell also there are 2 electrons which is already present. So I told you all, for example, scandium if I take, okay, atomic number 21, it is argon 4s2, then it will fill 3D, isn't it? So there are 2 electrons in the 4th shell and now the 3rd shell d orbital is getting filled up. So when the electron comes into the 3D orbital, initially there is no much screening effect for these 2 electrons in the 4s which is observed. Okay, the protons are also going on increasing, the 3D electrons are also going on increasing, not much of screening effect is there. Still these 2 electrons are pulled towards the nucleus quite well. But after chromium, if you see, that is once the half filled 3D orbitals are observed, later when the electrons are coming in, there is screening effect is getting balanced with the nuclear charge. So there is increase in the screening effect and also increase in the nuclear charge, which both are getting balanced with one another, and thus the atomic radius does not shrink or it does not reduce. It is almost the same value after midway through. But when we come to the end towards zinc, suddenly there is an increase in atomic size. Why? Because when the 3D orbital is completely full, okay, when the last electron is coming up, there is lot of electron repulsion which is happening, and due to this electron repulsion, expansion of the electron cloud happens, and the last element, the 10th element, there is sudden increase in size. So what is happening? What is the reason? As we move, for example, in 3D transition series, if I take from scandium to zinc, when I move, first the screening effect is of d electron is not that very effective. So there is a force of attraction between the nucleus and the outermost electron of the 4s electrons, okay. But as the electrons are getting filled in the 3D orbital, there is a balance is created between the screening effect and the nuclear charge, and due to that atomic radius becomes almost constant. Only towards the end, because of the electron repulsion in the electron cloud will expand. Okay, you can see that in this graph also. So green color what we are showing, it is for 3D transition series. This is for 4D transition series, and this is for 5D transition series in the graph. Okay, so you can see scandium, it has got, this is the atomic radius. You can see it is going on reducing. After chromium, you can see it's almost very close to one another. You can't see there is a sharp change, isn't it? Then towards the end, suddenly there is an increase in atomic size. Same way it happens in the 4D transition series as well as the 5D transition series. So this is the atomic radius or the trend in the atomic radius along the period. Now what happens down the group? So when we are coming down the group, what will happen? Now as we come down the group, if we observe, first I have titanium, then I have zirconium, then I have hafnium. Okay, so as we come down the group, the 3D transition series onwards, that is from hafnium onwards, okay, hafnium onwards, the second transition series and the third transition series have got the same atomic radii. You can see here zirconium 160 picometer, hafnium 159 picometer, molybdenum 146 picometer, tungsten 139 picometer. You can see they are very close to one another, atomic radius, isn't it? That is due to lanthanoid contraction. So the second transition series as well as the third transition series have got similar atomic radii. They have got very close values of atomic radii. You can see cadmium and mercury also. They are very close to one another, and the reason behind this is lanthanoid contraction. More about lanthanoid contraction I shall explain when I am doing F block elements. Okay, it's a special type of effect which is seen. Okay, so that's about what happens down the group. Next is about the ionic radii. Ionic radii has the same trend as that of the atomic radii. For the same oxidation state, the ionic radii as we move along the period goes on increasing. But if it is for different oxidation state, you can see higher the oxidation state, smaller is the ion. Okay, or the ionic radii is smaller. So Fe plus 2 state, it has got 76 picometer, but Fe plus 3 state, the ionic radii is 64 picometer. Nickel in plus 2 state is 72 picometer, plus 3 state 62 picometer. Manganese plus 2 state 80 picometer, plus 3 state it is 66 picometer. So you can see as the charge or the oxidation state of the element increases, the ionic radii is reducing. Okay, so next we have the metallic character. So what is the metallic character? We know all the transition elements are solid metals except mercury, correct? And what are the characteristics of metal? They have got high tensile strength, they have luster or they shine, they have high conductivity, that is thermal as well as electrical conductivity, they are malleable, they are ductile, isn't it? So they have a high melting point, boiling point, they have high tensile strength, the density, etc. are the properties of metals. And all of these characteristics are observed in transition elements also. There are three types of structures which are possible. That is, in solids chapter we have studied. The packing of these metallic atoms can be in either of way. It can be cubic close packed, or it can be hexagonally close packed, HCP, or body centered cubic structure it can have. So it can have FCC or CCP structure, HCP structure, or BCC structure. So this one we shall see how each series has. If you see the 3D transition series, the first series, scandium has got HCP and BCC, titanium HCP and BCC. Similarly, vanadium BCC, chromium BCC. Here it is X, it is written. X means a typical metallic structure it has got with HCP. So here you can see different types are there, and there is no particular trend which is being followed by a particular series. Either they have BCC or HCP or CCP, depending on which type of metallic structure they are forming. Okay, so this is for 3D transition series, this you can see for 4D, and this you can see for 5D transition series. Okay, so next we have ionization enthalpy. So what is ionization enthalpy? The amount of energy required to remove the outermost electron from an orbital. We call it as ionization enthalpy. Now, if the atomic size is smaller, the ionization enthalpy will be higher. They are inversely proportional, isn't it? And in d block elements, what have we observed? As we move along the period, atomic radius is going on reducing. So, what should happen to ionization enthalpy? It should go on increasing. Correct? No? So, the ionization enthalpy increases in this series as the atomic number increases, but increase is not regular again. That is because atomic radius also they are constant now after midway, they are almost very close to one another. That's the reason even ionization enthalpy is not regular. So effect of increasing nuclear charge is somewhat neutralized by increase in the shielding effect in the 3D electrons. So I told you that's the same reason why the atomic radius also is almost same after midway through. Why? The increase in effective nuclear charge is balanced by the shielding effect, and due to this atomic radius also remains almost the same. Even ionization enthalpy also there is no much change. Okay. Thus, in a period, ionization enthalpy increases from left to right, that you can see from scandium, titanium, vanadium and chromium have fairly close to one another ionization enthalpy, and iron, cobalt, nickel, copper have almost similar ionization enthalpies. Okay. Next, we have to remember some of the important points when it comes to the ionization enthalpy. Now, before I go into this, first ionization enthalpy means it is the amount of energy required to remove the first electron from an atom. Second ionization enthalpy means the amount of energy required to remove the second electron from a cation which is already formed. Correct? So, the points which you need to remember, and this is again very important, they can ask as give reason questions also for your exams. Okay. So, the value of first ionization enthalpy of chromium is lower than expected. Why? Chromium, if I take, it has got the electronic configuration of 3d5 4s1. So, the first ionization enthalpy is low because if it loses this electron, it gets half-filled orbital. And the half-filled valence orbital is there, they get extra stability. Thus, the first ionization enthalpy of chromium is low. But the second ionization enthalpy of chromium will be extremely high because it does not want to lose one more electron because it has got the half-filled orbital. Okay, so that is the first exception which we have got. Next, the value of zinc is appreciably high due to the additional stability associated with the completely filled orbitals. Now, if I consider zinc also, zinc has got argon 3d10 4s2. Correct? So, it has got completely filled orbital. So, first ionization enthalpy is fairly high. So, to remove one electron from here, ionization enthalpy is high because of completely filled orbitals. But the second ionization enthalpy is very low. Why? Because, see, once the electron is lost, one electron is lost, it gets 4s1. So, one more if it loses, it gets completely filled orbital. Isn't it? That is the reason first ionization enthalpy is fairly high, but the second ionization enthalpy is fairly less. because it can get completely filled orbitals if 2 electrons are completely removed. Okay, so that's about the chromium and zinc. Next we have the second ionization enthalpy of chromium and copper are usually high. I told you all, because even copper if you take, okay, it has got 3d10 4s1. So first ionization enthalpy will be low, but the second ionization enthalpy will be fairly high because it does not want to lose the completely filled orbitals. Okay. Next, the value of second ionization enthalpy of zinc is comparatively low. I've already explained this because second electron when it loses, it will get completely filled valence shell orbital, which is much stable. Okay. Now, second ionization enthalpy of manganese is less than that of iron. This is because now manganese and iron, if I compare, that is manganese has got electronic configuration of argon 3d5 4s2 and iron has got 3d6 4s2. Okay. So, the second ionization enthalpy of manganese is less than that of iron. Why? Okay. See, manganese after losing one electron, it has got only one more electron. So, if I lose that one more electron, it gets half filled orbital. But unlike iron if it loses 2 electrons also, still it is not getting half filled orbital. So, it has got a high ionization enthalpy compared to that of manganese. Okay. So, that's about the exceptions which you need to remember in ionization enthalpy. Next class will be studying about the oxidation state and the magnetic properties of D block elements. So, I hope you have understood today's class. Thank you, my dear children. Stay tuned, stay focused.